Hello, hi, salutations. How you doing? What's up, people? I think I have too much energy right now. It is Doc, aka the Gunatic Fringe, aka Gunther, aka Genki Horoguchi Meng, and I'm here today with a guy who does Puro Resu reviews on his YouTube. You can find him at Taykzy, that's Taykzy, and you can find all this stuff on YouTube, and I recommend it. How you doing, man?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Doc.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you for the first time, and I'm very excited about this because, man, um, it's a little bit in the morning, and I'm happy to catch you before your flight to Japan. And like, you know, I'm a big fan of Japanese pro wrestling. I know you're a big fan of Japanese pro wrestling. My first question to you is, how'd you get into wrestling?
So my uncle randomly flipped on Monday Night Raw when I was about 7.
Oh.
I've tried to go back and find the exact episode or moment,
Hmm.
which I can't quite decipher where it was, but I know it was Mankind and Road Dogg, and they were like fighting over a dumpster.
Oh man.
Um, and then I remember when The Rock was on Saturday Night Live. Ironically, I knew who everyone was. I knew Rock, Triple H, and Big Show. I didn't know
Hmm.
who Mick Foley was, even though my first memory is of Mankind.
That's cool, man. So you're probably a little bit younger than me. I'm 40.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
33.
Okay. Young man. Young man. So what was it about the wrestling that like kind of brought you into the stuff? Was it like the action, the characters? What was it?
Yeah, I think it was the action because I was a big Power Rangers kid,
Ooh.
and so I watched Power Rangers and pro wrestling until I was about 12 or 13, and I remember I had like the grown up talk with myself, like, all right, you're getting too old to watch both of these, and so I cut Power Rangers out.
Oh man. You know what's funny though? Like I kept on with the whole Tokusatsu Power Rangers Kamen Rider thing, and then like when I got into my 30s, I actually got heavier into it once I was able to get into that stuff. So and like the cross the crossbreeding between pro wrestling and like Power Rangers is kind of the same thing because it's fake fighting with storylines.
Right. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. In hindsight, I probably would have just been a nerd about both, but
yeah,
12-year-old Tay Casey was like, all right, we got to grow up and we can't do all these things.
yeah. You got to get a girlfriend. Girls don't like this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, man. And like, I would say there's something. I mean, because you're going to Japan and you cover
Yep.
Jap Japanese wrestling on your YouTube. So, what was it about the Japanese style that companies that approved to you? And KZ, Tay KZ, that comes from the wrestler from Natural Vibes, KZ, who I wish it would be KZ time, but I don't know if it'll ever be KZ time.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever getting Casey time. Um, so I was, like we discussed, I got into wrestling
Yeah.
early 2000s. And so I found WCW in February 21 or 2020, 2001.
Wow.
So I found it
Right
like
at the
just
end.
before it went under.
Mm.
So I think for me that helped me know as a kid that there was a bunch of wrestling out there, and then of course you had like the invasion angle too.
Yeah.
Um, so I was never like WWF only. It was just that was what I knew. So when YouTube came around and there was like the YouTube wrestling community, people would talk about like Ring of Honor and PWG and Chikara and all that stuff.
Yep.
And PWG is what spoke to me the most. And then I think it was the 2007 Battle of Los Angeles. They had a bunch of Dragon Gate guys on,
Yeah.
and then they brought a couple of those guys over to Japan. So that
Uh,
was my bridge to Japanese wrestling. So for a long time, I didn't really know the difference between Japanese wrestling and Dragon Gate. It was just
Uh,
all Dragon Gate for me.
well, actually, I went to those. I was attending those PWGs live back when they were doing shows in Burbank and in the first times they were in Reseda, and like, oh man, that I loved the Dragon system. I loved Torimon when I was doing the trading at first. And then like to actually
Hmm.
see these guys live for when they come in for PWG, because I remember there was one time I think it was either a 2007 show where all the guys before the PWG show they're coming in and they're coming in through the front door, not the back door. And this was like in their
Okay.
it was like in a VFW like around like Burbank or something. So
Okay. Yeah.
I remember one time Stalker Ishikawa comes in and it's Stalker, so he's coming in full gimmick, right? He has his roller suitcase, but he's also like full gimmicked out, makeup on, the costume, the
That's
little pitchfork,
amazing.
and then so who comes behind him but uh Don Fuji and Shingo. So I know this is gonna be an old man, so they say, okay, match. So we're just there. It's just us fans lined up before a PWG show. If you go to a PWG show, you know, like, okay, it's gonna be like whatever, however long to get in there. So we're still all just waiting, and then all of a sudden, Shingo and Stalker and Don Fuji improvise a match right there with Don Fuji as the referee. Shingo hits a pumping bomber, gets Stalker in a Boston Crab, and Stalker taps out. And they just did
Yeah.
that. They just did that for us.
In
And
the parking lot.
yeah, like it's like a parking lot, but like they did it like on the grass. And the whole
Okay.
time, Don Don Fuji never lets go of his bag of Carl's Jr. Because they used like these guys always came in, but they always had like bags of Carl's Jr. But so imagine like Don Fuji holding like the bag of Carl's Jr. but like refing the match, but he never drops it. He's just holding it like and like that's just a fun thing because like when we talk about Puro, and for me personally, I love I love New Japan, but I also I love Dragon Gate. I love their Dragon system. Ultimo Dragon is one of my pillars of my fandom, and yeah, man, that's good to hear that you actually got in with PWG and all that. Because also seeing guys like Jack Evans, Human Tornado, Steen,
Yep.
Generico, the Bucks all do like Dragon Gate tours, and they actually did a PWG in I don't know if it was Korakuen, but they did a PWG show in Japan, and that's
Okay. I think I remember looking into that because I remember seeing that they made the effort to make their world title an actual world title and
yeah,
defended it like once in Japan and once in England and stuff.
yeah, they did like tours in like Germany. They did a whole European tour. If you look up on YouTube, they used to have like that they I'm not sure what is it, but like like so PWG used to do DVDs, right? And on the DVDs they used to have like skits on them because
Right. Yep.
DVD
That's what
culture,
got me into them. They
yeah,
put those skits on YouTube.
yeah. So you had like what was it, Scorpio Sky or someone like talking about like, oh yeah, look at look at me, who am I trying pretending to be? And he's like doing like a Norman Smiley dance, or like you get like all these skits of like uh say Kenny Omega and Chuck Taylor torturing and bullying Generico.
Yep. Yep. I remember those ones.
Though that was just funny to me, man. And I love that you're coming to me with like, how did you get into PWG, dude? Because like I know it's online, but like, were you on the torrenting thing? Did you get the actual physical DVDs, or was it like
Yeah. So I found them through YouTube and through the skits. That was my introduction to it.
all right, the
So
blackest
like I
man
said,
on earth?
like there are a couple like YouTube wrestling reviewer guys that would talk about it,
Yeah.
and then I would find the skits, and it might have been the skits first because I would just search like Samoa Joe on YouTube, and it would be like the Samoa Joe Teddy Hart corn dogs thing or whatever, and I was like, these are funny. Why is Samoa Joe like more interesting here than he is in TNA?
Oh
And then
yeah.
that led me down the rabbit hole, and then that was around when I was 18, so I moved out and moved in with a buddy that liked wrestling. So he showed me the torrent site. So then I watched
Right.
like every Bola. That was around like 2010. So it was I watched like '04 through 2010, and then I got so hooked in onto it that I started buying the DVDs. So I still have a good amount of DVDs. I think I have like every DVD from like 2011, 2012, a little
You
into 2013,
you might
and then I
see.
got
Yeah, go ahead.
and then I kind of fell out of it there for a while.
Yeah.
I think at that point around like 2014, people started uploading things on like Watch Wrestling and stuff. So then I was just watching it that way.
Okay.
The one I went to was the 2016 Bola. So I bought those on DVD to see myself and stuff in the crowd.
2016 Bola. Let me remember who was that. That was that was
That was
Ricochet.
unfortunately the Marty Skrull
Ugh. Okay.
Bola.
Yeah, I do remember not wanting to go to that one, and I don't think I did. But I did go to the one where I think I went to most bolas up until 2012. So you probably saw me on tape, and yeah, that's
Yeah, especially if you were a front row guy, because the
yeah,
front row guys were all pretty much the same every show.
yeah. So it's funny because like when you think about the live show experience, there was something real different about going to like there's something different about watching it and something different about being there. Because when you're there, like you feel, I know like it's kind of captured in DVDs, but like how you capture that feeling of being immersed with all these people and it's like you're shoulder to shoulder, and I think I could compare it to like being in a mosh pit. Because there's chairs there, but we're rarely sitting down for the whole show.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that was probably my favorite wrestling experience. So I don't know where we're going with the combo, but I think wrestling, like a lot of art, the way I kind of view art is there's like
Yeah.
two paths. There's like doing art for money, and there's doing art for like the purity of the art. And I think with pro wrestling specifically, obviously the guys are sacrificing their bodies and want to make money, and you can do it in front of 60,000 people. But there's nothing like more special than when it's in front of like a crowd of like 400 or 500 people, and it's packed like the Legion Hall used to be.
Oh god, and it was
Um,
so
it
hot.
was just special.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something special about being in a shitty building, shoulder to shoulder with strangers,
No
but just seeing
ventilation.
like the best wrestling in the world.
Yeah, and you know what, man? Whenever we would go to PWG, I would always go to take a piss on the side of the building because I that restroom was not a good place to be in.
Yeah, I don't think I visited the restroom. Otherwise, I'm sure
Uh,
I would remember it.
yeah, that restroom back there was not a good time. I was anyway. Um, yeah, so like the live experience, I feel like when you're going to wrestling is, and like you said, like when you're going to like 60,000 seat, because I went to WrestleMania 26. Um, there it's nice to like see be in the building and see like all those people and like I think I saw like the Blue Angels fly above head and all that pyro stuff. That's cool. Honestly, that's cool. But like there's something about the intimate setting of like say yeah, Reseda or like even Korakin. Korakin, like you could feel I was there for like a freedom show and there was like 13, 1,500 people there or announced attendance of that. And like it's like there's something about that intimate setting where you just feel like, oh, I can just like really go out. Um, and especially like in the PWG crowd, you're just like pretty much you and a bunch of like other sickos your age who are and you don't have to like watch your words or nothing. And just you could just like go crazy and just enjoy yourself. Um, yeah, that's never gonna be
Yeah,
happening again.
right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone always says that the crowd is part of the show, but when you're in an intimate setting like that, you really are part of the show because the
Yeah,
wrestlers can interact directly with you.
yeah. And sometimes you could take a bump too if you if
Yep.
if you don't move right enough, because like I remember, how was it? Steen used to do like used to do like a one of those topes to the crowd, and like he took out like like this one guy who refused to stand up. He just sat there the whole time, and he got taken out in the whole falling, and I just laughed because like when you're in those settings, like if you're not gonna get up, it's your fault. And
Yeah, yeah. So Bolo was the first show I took my fiance to,
oh
and I didn't prep her for like, hey, when the guys are coming, you got to get up and out of the way. So
yeah.
Sammy Callahan almost threw Cody Rhodes into her. He kind of did like this the half stutter step to slow down, and I dragged her out of the way. And yeah, so Cody got thrown directly into her seat.
Mm. When I took my wife to one of the shows, she was like, "Oh man, this is how I know that she loved me because she's still with me after that." Because there's a difference between going to a WWE show, kind of like in a big arena. You got your arena chairs, you got the children there. It's you got a nice like little production, right? It's like going to like a show. When you go to this, it's like going to like a punk rock show, and there's no like assigned seating. There's no nothing like that. And of course, you know, like when you go to a punk show, there's crust punks in wrestling, and they stink. And that's all she can
Yep.
remember from the thing is the really stinky guys who don't know
Oh yeah.
what toilet paper is.
Yep. Yep. Every wrestling show that you bring your woman to, you end up sitting next to a stinky guy that talks to her like she doesn't understand wrestling, even though it's one of the easier things to comprehend.
Yeah, like that guy. That guy's always there. Like you don't even like it always just happens to be like when you go to like a show, you avoid these guys. You avoid the stink sitting behind the stinky guy. You get like a nice little thing. But when you bring your partner, of course it has to be right next to the stinky guy
Every time. Every
every
time.
time. Because you're like, okay, I'm gonna share this. She's probably gonna like it. And then she's it's always like, what's that smell? Oh my God. And you're like, oh, here we go. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
I can ignore it either. I'm like, God damn it. Because like sometimes you go to the live show and that stinky guy ruins it for you because like all you can do is like you want to watch the action, but you just get stuck in that stench and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It was the one fun thing about that being her first show
Yeah.
is she got to shut down the guys from that after that. Like we sat like front row for one of the first Defy shows. It was like the next show I brought her to a year or so
Yeah.
later. And the
Oh,
guy tried to do that, like, oh, this is how wrestling works. And she just turned to him and she was like, I was at Bola last year, and he just stopped. He stopped dead in his tracks and was like,
yeah.
oh, you're a bigger wrestling nerd than I am.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, I don't know why they always want to explain it to your partner when you're standing right next to them, or like they feel like they have to introduce this person, this lady, female person to this stuff. I'm like, okay, you could talk like that, but like that's Rhonda, that's Marina, that's Shayna in the front row. They're over there on the other side of the ring, that's Sofia Vergara. I don't think these ladies need to be introduced to what pro wrestling is, and it's kind of like I know like a lot of people think like wrestling is a male space, but like there is a ton of female fans out there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And it's
yeah,
all that stuff. Like this network does a good job of it, but it's all that stuff that keeps more women away than
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not the show of pro wrestling. It's the fans kind of unintentionally or intentionally keeping it a male space that
yeah. It's a weird gatekeeper thing, and um, the way that I kind of told my wife what it is, I just told her it's a live show and it's like theater. And the moment like we went to, I mean, the moment we went to a live show, she got it. Because she would always ask me like, why are you watching this stuff? And I'm like, it's funny. And then she went to the live show with me and she's like, okay, I get it.
right,
And
yeah, yeah.
and so you're going to Japan. How many trips does this make for you?
This will be my first trip out of the country.
Wow.
I mean, I live right on the border, so technically I've been to Canada a couple times, but
Hey.
but for all intents and purposes, this is the first trip out of the country. So I'm really excited. I built the trip around going to Dead or Alive because I figured, hey, if we're gonna fly all the way there and spend that money, I want to get like the full Dragon Gate experience. I want to see the wacky cage match and all that stuff.
Hey, when where is Dead or Alive taking place?
It is in the so it is the last Dragon Gate
Oh, the
show in
Dolphin
Dolphins
Stadium.
Arena
Okay, Dolphins
in
Arena.
Nagoya. Yep.
Okay, you gotta make sure, bro, when you go, there's gimmick tables there, and the gimmick tables are ran by the not just by the young boys, but like the actual stars are there at the gimmick table. So if you could like snap a pic with the super sexy Yamato,
Oh yeah,
I'd appreciate that. But yeah,
yeah.
dude.
So a couple guys came to Defy, so I got pictures with Ishin, KZ, and Suzumu.
Um,
But so like my screen name is Taykzy. KZ was a big. I was a big fan of KZ back in '09, 2010, and
yeah.
then my high school graduation, they would ask you what your middle name was and wouldn't actually cross reference it. So I when I walked down the aisle to get to my diploma, my middle name was Genki Horiguchi. So
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
HAGE is my goal to get a picture with when I'm there.
Ha, yay. Oh man, like, okay, so I met like pretty much everybody that came to the shows like back in 2006, 2007, 2008. They were all like, I mean, they're all really cool, especially like Genki. He he's really cool too, and like he actually speaks better Spanish than he does English because he trained like in Mexico City
Okay, yeah,
because he was part of the like I'm not sure if he was class two. He might have been class two, but he was part of the classes that were training the real Torumanjin in Mexico City.
right,
And
yeah,
he's one of the nicest guys that I've talked to. So yeah, he's cool. I like how he has like that. He's not bald. He has such a long hair, such long, beautiful, real
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I was worried. He was the one guy that didn't get announced for the card, but then he got on the pre-show match. So I'm
Oh,
excited I get to see him wrestle.
that's great. He's still a treat to this day, man. He's like one of like my most underappreciated guys. My most underappreciated guy is Stalker, and I
Yeah,
think I think people really need to watch his matches because he's one of the best at being the worst.
yeah, absolutely. And it was funny. He retired, and then Max Caster started doing this Best Wrestler Alive gimmick, and it
Yeah.
reminds me so much of Hollywood Stalker. So
Oh,
it's my favorite thing happening in AEW.
you
It's like,
know,
oh, this is kind of the American version of this.
yeah, and he has such a likable personality that it's in kind of infection. And I know he was trying to like be like a heel for like the last number of things like on like Twitter and all that stuff, but like you can feel his enthusiasm through the TV screen, and of course the fans in the arena like he got that over. He got that chant
Yeah,
over. Max, let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler. He's
yeah, man, it's
it's new.
endearing, and
Yeah, this is
I
a
don't
new
think they
day.
need to change anything. Do it for forever. Just let him be Hollywood Stalker for 20 years.
Yeah, except well, Stalker did have abs, but they were kind of drawn on.
Yeah,
So,
not to the extent of CyberCon, but yeah.
oh yeah, CyberCon. Oh, yeah, talk about a meaty man. Uh, oh, wasn't he coming back? There was, I thought he was gonna work a show soon as CyberCon, but
CyberCon, okay, yeah. I know he got unmasked a few years ago.
yeah, yeah. But man, talk about like getting drawn on abs. And it's like that's always a hilarious thing to me. He had already had big muscles. He just didn't have cuts, so like he had to draw on those cuts.
He drew on like the
Yeah,
biceps and leg muscles too. I
yeah.
loved
Even
it.
though like he was muscular, but he just didn't. But man, yeah, that's man. I like doing this stuff, man. I know we've been talking about it, but like, do you have? maybe a group of like three wrestlers who you always have to seek out when you're watching wrestling?
I my shoot job is an accountant, so I got into using Excel. So I started doing like bucket list guys,
Awesome.
which is I think it's kind of skewed
Okay.
my wrestling because it's like I check them off the list and then it becomes less important to me. Um, so I don't know that I have that. I think my big bucket list guys um, that are left, I'll knock out mostly at Dead or Alive, and then the one kind of golden goose that I don't think I'll get the chance to see is Tanahashi.
Uh, see, I watched my big Tanahashi singles match I watched live was Tanahashi versus Billy Gunn, and I loved it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I loved it. It, oh, like that whole show was good, but I love that. I love that match. Also, I did see him in TNA when they did a house show over here.
okay.
Yeah, but the less said about
See
the
the
better.
magic
But
of
yeah, um, yeah, man. So Tanahashi is just. I mean, if you ever get to see him live, because retirements aren't real retirements. He
right,
said,
right. That's what
yeah, he
that's what
said
I'm
this is
hoping
his
for.
last New Japan match in America. Remember, he said last New Japan match in America.
Yep, yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
that kind of
If
opened the
Fukuoka wasn't
door.
so far,
Oh,
I would try to get to Dontaku, but
oh,
we're the furthest west we're going is Kyoto,
oh,
and
okay.
Fukuoka is like 3.5 hours from that. So it's just like, man, I don't think I can make it
Uh,
to watch Goto versus Callum Newman. That's not enticing enough.
man, you're going to the superior card. You're going to the superior card with the superior wrestlers, in my opinion. Superior company
Yeah,
building.
I agree. The card is incredible. I got really lucky.
Like people are sleeping on. People say, okay, what's the point of watching wrestling right now? I'm like, oh, you should be watching Dragon Gate because what they're delivering is like they're delivering some things that you don't get everywhere else, and they're delivering like storylines. They're delivering like body guys. They're delivering like fast-paced wrestlers. They're delivering power wrestlers. They're delivering like anything you could want. They got, and of course
Yeah, and
and
that's
they
what
could,
originally drew it to me,
yeah,
and then coming back to it. So I fell out of it around Blood Warriors Junction 3 because I liked having the like six factions. So when it
yeah,
all bogged down to two, it kind of killed the magic for me. And
yeah,
so I just recently got back to it, and it's still, everyone's kind of stolen the Dragon Gate system, so it's not as special in that way, but it is like you're saying, it's still got everything.
yeah.
And so getting back into it the last year or so, I don't think any tag team in the world is killing it like Jackie Rita is right now.
Oh yeah. Once Rita gets a new name, goes by his real name. What's his real name? I don't know. But
I have no idea.
once Rita goes by a new name and like really falls into his shoot style, he's going to be something big. Like I gotta see something big. I see something big in Rita. I see something big in Mochi. I see something big in Homare.
Yeah,
And
I'm big on Hamari. I'm so stoked that I get to see it
dude, all he
like a
has to do,
showcase singles match.
yeah, he has the super kick. He has the RKO. He's set. He's set to pop the crowd with those moves. That's all he needs.
And he's
And
like 20. He's the Japanese Nick Wayne, except he's better than Nick Wayne.
oh yeah, he's 20. Mochi Jr. is what, 21. You got Ryoya. He's still young. You got and I think we were talking about this before, but like I do like Bad Cop because
Yes.
he is someone. They had another guy too that was his size, like 6 foot something, jack, tall, handsome. But like this dude like has it, and I like that. Before they tried to make him a face because he was a cop, and in Japan they're like, oh, we respect cops, whatever, trying to.
Uh-huh.
But like the moment he
He's such a
turned,
natural heel.
he's just such a heel. And like who fuck the police, and it's so good because he leans into it, and he's just like, yeah, he's great. Kind of not like the other cop guy that's in DDT and Big Japan that kind of molests people. He's like actually a guy who has like a aura of badassery around him. So
Yeah,
Anyway,
he carries it well. He's so young in his career, but he just has like that aura. You feel like he can
yeah,
already carry the heel group as the leader. I know
yeah.
he's not quite there, but it doesn't seem far away.
Oh yeah. And you talk about like heels that are there already. You talk about Ishin. My God, getting fat was the best thing for that kid.
I know. I've only seen him fat, and I'm scared to go back and like see him normal size because it's so great.
Oh yeah, it's so great, man. Because he took from Uncle Kai. He saw like Kai was came in. He won the world title. He's fat. He has like a fucked up 2002 mullet haircut, and he's like, okay, I'll have that too. And like he's kind of I mean the look is kind of like mini Kai, but like it's his own thing, and I just love Ishin is dope.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ishin Ishin's fat Dia Inferno was like my one of my favorite things in wrestling this year. That was an incredible bit.
yeah, yeah. Oh, everybody kept talking about who is Sean gonna get as Dia Inferno. Is he gonna get the guy back? Is he gonna make Diamante? Who's it gonna be? And then it just ended up being Ishin and a mask. That's such good heat. And that show too, you could tell, actually, bringing it back, you could tell Shun is a big fan of like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider based on that Shun special show because of how he would do his thing. He would be like the evil bad guy from wherever else in the world, talking about announcing every match that's gonna happen, and he did his evil laugh. Talk about like
Yeah,
complete package
yeah,
Shun Skywalker. Oh man,
Shun is great. Yeah, I loved his special show. There's a lot of people hypothesizing that there's another one coming in a couple months, and I hope that's true.
I hope that's true, man. Um, so you're going to Japan, and what a lot of people do when they go to Japan is they're going to eat, right? So what are the three places that you're definitely going to eat at when you go to Japan?
So that is what I'm a little unsure of. We're both used to Americanized sushi, so we're scared to do the traditional like raw fish. It's not really appealing to either of us. So I'm sure we'll do like tempura. I'm sure we'll do ramen. We
Okay.
don't really have places picked out. There's a guy on the Voices of Wrestling Discord that is always in the Dragon Gate tab that I've been talking to. He gave me a couple food recommendations. So there's like a 8-bit bar in Osaka that looks really cool,
Yeah.
and he gave me a couple like pork places. So I don't know the names off the top of my head, but I got them noted down in my little travel app. So
Hey, I
I'll
gotta
report
tell.
back to you.
Okay, I gotta tell you, McDonald's, KFC, and I'm sorry to assume you say taste, but like Yoshinoya, because I know you're from Seattle, right?
Right, right.
And
Yep.
and in Seattle, I know like you guys are known for like teriyaki bowls and all that stuff. I love
Hmm.
teriyaki bowls. If I know Yoshinoya in America, I know. Do you guys have it up there?
It sounds familiar, and that might be one of the places
All right.
that I got recommended.
So Yoshinoya in America, it's just a beef bowl place. So there's something different when you go to Japan. Like I'm not sure what it is, but whatever beef they use, whatever sauce they use, the rice, everything is super delicious over there. And they're open late and all that stuff. And plus you'll see somebody like I think they had Nakamura as one of the mascots. So
Oh, that's funny.
so it's
That's
a
awesome.
it's a yeah, it's a recommend. I usually ending shows like how I end my dinners. Um, and I usually like to get a dessert for my dinner. So what's your favorite dessert?
I am a baked goods guy, and I typically go cookies. So it's not really like a
Nice.
after dessert kind of or after dinner dessert, but if I could have anything, it's just like a coffee cake, a cookie, that sort of thing.
Do you like your cookies warm and how do you like your cookies? Soft? Do you like them warm? Do you like them crispy? What are we talking?
I don't like them so much fresh out of the oven, even though that's good with the
Yeah.
gooey. I feel like you just don't get to enjoy it the same way. So
Yeah.
good like room temperature, maybe slightly warm.
Oh, okay. That's what's your cookie?
I go back and forth. I'm always a sucker for like a peanut butter cookie, but then
Nice.
Snickerdoodles had me recently, and I've always been an oatmeal raisin guy. I'll take oatmeal raisin over chocolate chip every day of the week.
Oh man, I love me peanut butter. I love me all the cookies. Call me the
Right,
cookie
me too.
monster. I would eat all of them, man. I love cookie oatmeal raisin. I know people like you get you like when you go to work and like you have like a potluck thing and somebody buys the Costco cookies
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
and like all the time the raisin ones are left and I'm like hell yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, right. I'm like this row is just for me.
I know nobody else is gonna touch it, so I'm gonna get it for myself, and it's good to have that kindred spirit. Um, so man, I want to say that it's been a real pleasure for having you on my show. I want to say thank you for taking this time out on your travel day, you maniac, to to go to Japan and take that time out and talk to me. Do you want to tell people where they can find you and all your stuff?
Yeah, so all my socials are at Taykzy, like Doc said at the top, Taykzy. On YouTube, I do wrestling reviews, so I got inspired by the Voices of Wrestling did their like top 100 matches, and I got like FOMO for one of the first times in my life. So that was the inspiration. So I do monthly top tens, and then the shows I'm really excited for, which are pretty much universally Japanese shows in 2025. I'll do full show reviews of. So there'll be a slight downturn right now, depending on what time this comes out. But in May, I got the April top 10 coming up. I'll give a review of Dead or Alive once I'm back in the States. And then Don Taku's there too. So I'll be busy once I get back.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. You know, you bring up Voices of Wrestling, and Joe Lanza famously calls himself the Kento Kobashi of sex. I I called Rich the Stalker Ichikawa of sex. Um, what wrestler of sex are you?
That is a good question that I have never thought of. You know what? I'll go. I don't know if this euphemism makes sense at all, but I'll go with one of my childhood favorites. I'm the Maven of sex.
Oh, okay, that's good. My answer always changes, but I feel like since we've talked about this all day, I feel like I'm the Punch Tominaga of sex.
That's perfect.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you go, but thanks you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.